Hilchis Chovel U'Mazik Perik Shmini. So in Perik Zayin we learned the dinim of Hezek Shein Nikar, we learned the din of Grama, and here the Rambam will discuss the dinim of a Moiser. A Moiser means someone gives over money of Yidden to Goyim or to people that take away the money. So even though they didn't take it away b'yadayim, the Yid didn't do anything b'yadayim, the mere fact that he told over to the Moiser gave over about this person's money, and Mele, as a result of that, he lost the money, so Mele is chayv, as we'll see in Behemshech. Because if he actually took the money, so he's more than just a Moiser. He actually took the money. Mashenkin over here, the ikar is that even if he just gave over the money, if he gave over the money without actually physically taking the money, so he's called a Moiser, and Mele, he caused that person should take the money, and as a result of that, he's chayv. Perik Shmini. Ha-Moiser mamin chaveri biyad anis. A person is Moiser, someone's money biyad anis, in the hands of someone that forces the money out of people, is chayiv, l'shalim, and yafishim and achos. So then he's chayiv. And even though l'churi he didn't do anything biyadayim, but nevertheless this becomes a real chiyuv. And Memele v'mez gave him an ayorshim, kishar kol hamazikim. And those benigel, we learned benigel marshal Hezek Shein Nikar. So there's a chiyuv, it's a chiyuv d'Rabbanan, and it's only from him himself and not from the Yorshim. Over here we're saying no, that it's a chiyuv, he has to pay him an ayofish ben chosov, and v'mez gave him Yorshiv, kishar kol hamazikim. Ben shehoya anas goy, ben shehoya Yisrael. Is a reza hameser chayev l'shalim kol ma shelokach. Whatever the anas took from this yid, as a result of him, he has to pay. Afal pi shelinos hameser v'linosam biyodei elihir gebulvad. He just showed the other person where this money is. He told him about this money. So Memele, he told this person about this money, and Memele, as a result of that, that person took the money. So the moiser has to pay for the money. B'medvar mamurim. In other words, on his own accord, he went ahead and he, whatever benefit he had from it, but he wasn't forced to do it, and he was meiser miatzmi. Avela mansu goyma yisrael anis laharis v'hera. In other words, they threatened him that he's not going to show it. They're going to do something. They're going to hurt him. So then v'hera is ariza potem and not tashlumin. Then he's potem and tashlumin. In other words, if the reason why he showed this money to the goy or to this anis was because he was forced to do it, so then he's patim of that tashlumin. That's only talking about if he only told them where the money was because he was being forced, he was being threatened, that if he doesn't do it, they'll do something to him. Masha'inkinim nosiv and nosim biyad, if he actually took the money of the yid and he gave it to them, is afal pishuan is chayiv l'shalom. Shamatz l'asmi b'mam chaveri chayiv l'shalom. In other words, even though he was in a very difficult predicament, so if, because of that difficult predicament, he told them about the money, they're forcing them to tell him or else they'll do something to him, so then he's patika potter, because Lepel, he never actually took it from them. He just told them about it, and Memele, and he told them about it not on his own accord, because they forced him to. Mashenkin, if they forced him to go and take it for them, so Memele, so he was like matzel atzmi b'mam chaveri, and therefore he has to pay. Ketzad. So in other words, there was a gzeira that you have to bring him wine or a teven. So this person offered information to the melech that this person has yayin or teven, and then they went and took it. Is chayiv l'shalim, because he went ahead and told them about it, and as a result of that, they took it. However, because he forced him, you should show me the yayin teven. Should show me the other person's money. Because that person is running away from him. So he's forcing him to show him that person's money. And he showed him because he was in a forced position. He was being threatened. So the din is hariza potter. Is they'll hit him or they'll kill him. So maybe even though the threat is lavdafke to kill him, even to hit him, but nevertheless he said it because of the matzav of anoinus. That's called the matzav of anoinus. And when it's a matzav of anoinus, so then he's not chayiv alza moiser. However, nosne mom chavei biyodi v'nosne lianis. But if he actually took the money of his friend and he gave it to the anis, chayiv l'shalom mikol mokim avol pisha melech onsi lahavi. So this din is that when a person is forced to tell someone about something, so then you're potter. Masha'inkin, if you're forced and you go ahead and take someone's item, so even though Lepel you were forced, but since you're the one that took it, so then you're chayv. Now, b'medvar mamurim, when you take something of someone's and you give it to the anis, you're chayiv if it was really still it wasn't in the anis's reshus. But let's say the anis is there already. The anis knows where it is, and he's already next to that item. So therefore, basically, as far as everything is concerned, it's ke'ilu biyad anis, just a technical thing that the anis has to go take it. Now the anis is forcing this guy to not only he knows about it, he told him about it, and he knows about it. Now he's forcing this person to go ahead and actually transport it for him. So now he's transporting something which was really already biyad anis. So therefore, it's not going out of the other person's possession through him. It was out of the other person's possession by the fact that the anis was next to it. Now all he's doing is going ahead and delivering it for that person. So for that he's not chayiv. That's this din. That's this din. When do we say that the person is chayiv? Is only anis. The money wasn't yet in the reshus of the anis, and therefore this anis forced him to go ahead and find this person's money and bring it. Aval anis she'anis Yisrael achehereu. In other words, the anis forced the yid to go show him where the money is. Now va'amad the anis ala moment, so the anis is standing there. He's next to that money, and v'nasa b'rshusi, it's already b'rshusi, even though he didn't physically pick it up. But the fact that he's next to that money and therefore and knows exactly where the money is of that person, so it's considered b'rshusi. Now va'anis is Yisrael. Now he forced the yid to go take this money and to transport it to Mokamacher. This same person, first originally this Meiser showed him where it was. And now he forced this Meiser to go ahead and deliver it for him. Is that it is a patim l'shalom. Shekiv and sha'amad ha'anas b'sad, since he was there, is kvar ovid kol ma sheyesh be ukil nisraf. And therefore, in other words, for the first act, he's potter for bringing the anas there because he was an honest. For the second act, he's also potter because even though normally you're not being an honest for taking someone's possession is not a ptur, but medvar mamurim when it's still bershuse of that person that owns it. Mashenkin, since the anas was there already, he's there because this moser brought him there, but this moser brought him there be'oinis. So now the anas is there. So once the anas is there, so it's no longer bershus of the person that originally owns it. So now the fact that this moser goes ahead and delivers it is also not considered as something which he's chayiv for. He's not chayiv for. Yeah, the question is exactly when you say you force someone to go ahead and show you things. The question is, if the person is forcing you to go ahead and show me things that you know about. So he doesn't know that you know about this. So you could have avoided having to say about this. So b'chiyah gavna, you're not potter. So it's in a situation where a person is forced to go ahead and show him things that he owes. And either he forces him to show him where that person owns, or he's forcing him to show things that's around, and he doesn't have anything of his own to show. So mainly he has to show someone else's. In other words, it's in a matzav where he felt mukhrich to go ahead and show the goy, the anis, or the melech of these items that belong to his friend, because otherwise he won't be able to get out of it. Masha'ik, if it was in a situation where he really maybe could have gotten out of it, and he still showed him this item. So even though he was showing this item because he was being nanas, but Lepeil, he wasn't nanas to show this item. He could have showed other items. He showed his own items. So B'meila B'chiyai Gavni is not considered an onus and is chayiv. And those issues, Gufa, there's kama v'kama diyun and what's considered onus and not considered onus. So here in the Ram we're learning a general din, that if he was forced to show the item, so then he's potter. But he was forced to bring the item, then he's chayiv. He was forced to show the item, and then he was forced to bring the item. So since he's potter for being forced to show the item, for showing the item he's potter. Once he showed the item and the anis is there, so now it's already no longer, since the anis is there, it's considered b'shusay. So even though now he was being forced to bring it, but lepel is bringing something that's already no longer b'shus of the original owner. It's b'shus ha'anis, so therefore he's potter. Halacha hei. Bali din shehoysa b'nei meriva ala karka el metaltel. Zay meshali v'zay meshali. And then v'amad echad mem u'masr b'yad goyim. He was very upset with the other person, so he went ahead and was masr b'yad goyim. Is menad neisei achiyachzer adavel meshoya. So in other words, he was a moiser. He was a moiser of someone's money, or possibly someone's money to yad goyim. and v'yisalik yad anas b'neim, and to get rid of the anas. In other words, even though we're not really sure that it belongs to the other person, but lepel, since this person, there's a suffix, maybe it belongs to the other person, so he's mechuyev to get rid of the anas, to do whatever it takes to get rid of the anas, which means obviously paying him a lot of money to go away from this karka, and now v'yasu din b'Yisrael, and then you should go to a din teira by Yidden. Halacha Vav, mi shenitfes al chaverei v'lokchu goyim momen mimenu b'glal chaveri. You have two neighbors, Reuven and Shimon. Reuven owes Joe money, a goy Joe money. Now this Joe comes, Reuven is not home, so he goes into Shimon and he says, Joe owes me money, and I'm going to take the money from you, and you get it from Joe, you get it from Reuven. In other words, I'm taking the money from Shimon. I mean, Reuven has nothing to do with Shimon. Reuven didn't tell anything to Shimon. Lepel, Joe had no right to take the money from Shimon. So Reuven Tainis, listen, if I would have met Joe, maybe I would have come to some type of an agreement. I'll call upon him. Reuven doesn't have to pay Shimon anything because of the fact that this Joe took money from Shimon because Reuven owed him money. That's this din. Mi shenitmus al chaveri v'lochul goyim momen mimenu biglal chaveri ein chaveri chayiv l'shal. Ein lecha mi shenitmus al chaveri v'yechayiv l'shal. When would the din yet be that this person would have to pay if this person money was taken away because of him? There's a certain tax that every person has to pay. Or there's a certain present that when the king passes by, so they all have to donate and they have to participate in bringing him a certain present, or to participate in paying for his army, is hareza chayiv l'shalmei. So in other words, if lepel, this person didn't pay the tax, this person didn't give the money for the present, and they came and they took from him the money, and they said, I'm taking the money from you because of this person owes the tax, and go take the tax back from him. So then, there was Edom that said clearly that these goyim came along and took money from him because of the tax that his next door neighbor, whoever, his friend, the Yiddish friend, owes. So then he has a right to go to head to this Yiddish friend and say, listen, they took from me the taxes that you were supposed to pay, and they took it from me because of you, so Mela, I want you to reimburse me for those money that they took from me because of you. Halacha Zayin, Mi sheyeshel avedim shemosar momen chaveri. There's Edom that there was a Masira. Ki gein shehera miatzmei, Mela he's chayiv to pay. A shenanas, abe v'nasa v'nasan, so he actually did the transporting of the items. So maybe he's also chayiv to pay, even if he was an anus. They know there was a Masira, but they didn't know how much damage he caused. And the person that was damaged, the nimsar, he tainas, this what was his loss. And the kefer, the meser is tiny, that's not true. He wasn't mafsed that much. So the din is azay. So we learned before there's a musa called a nishba v'netel. That a nigzel could be a nishba v'netel. We learned that a nizek could be a nishba v'netel. But over here, vice is the nimsar can be a nishba v'netel. Only if he's toifus, then he can be a nishba v'netel. Is him tofas hanimsar? If the nimsar was toifus, he grabbed the money that he claims the moiser owes him. Is ein mitzian miyodei ala nishba b'nekitas chayfetz. Now he has to be a nishba b'nekitas chayfetz v'zeicha b'masha tofas in the tfisa yiseicha. So this is different than the din of U'Mazik. By U'Mazik we learned before that you could be a nishba v'netel. Masha'inkin over here we say no, that only if he was a tefus, only then could he be a nishba v'netel. Only then could he be a nishba v'netel. Halacha ches. Ein mashbiyan as ha-meser sheher mi'atzmei leishvua chamura v'leishvua heses mipnei shehu rasha. You can't, there's no musig of a moiser making a shvut. Say he should swear to be makrish the tightness of the nimser. Because mipnei shehu rasha ve'ein lecha psul yesem izeh. That's talking about a moiser which did an avere, he was maser mi'atzmi. Aval ha-meser shansul laharis, that they forced him laharis, elahavi and v'nosav biyad, is aval pishu chayiv l'shalom, even though he's chayiv l'shalom because lepel he was nosav biyad, is any Russia. That person wouldn't be considered a Russia. Person that they forced him to show and he's potter, or even if they forced him to bring and he's chayiv, he's not a Russia. Eleben tashlumin hu bilvad. He's able to swear. He'd be a mid-mixas or whatever. He'd be able to be a nishba v'nifter because lepel he is a neman. Halacha tes. Asur limsir ha'odam biyad goyim bein begufei bein b'mamene. It is a isur. To be meser someone biyad goyim, sai begufei and sai b'mamene, is an isur. Va'afilo ha'yirosha ubal averis. Va'afilo ha'yemetzer leu metzari. This person that you want to be meser is someone that's causing you pain. Is b'lepel, you're not allowed to be meser, not begufei, not b'mamene. V'chol ha'meser biyad goyim. Someone that's meser another yid biyad goyim, bein begufei bein b'mamene, even he's only meser the moment biyad goyim, is ein le chelik leilam haba. This person that's a meser has no chelik leilam haba. Halacha yud muter larig ha-meser b'chol mokim v'afilu b'zman hazeh shein donen din in nefashis, but nevertheless there's a special din that a meser you're allowed to kill. Umutu laharge kedim sheyimser. Who knows if there's, as what Ram will say, when there's a chash that he's going to be meser, before he's meser, you're allowed to kill him. Elik sha'amar hareini meser pleini begufei b'mamene v'afilu mamin kal is a hitter atzmi lemise umasrin leveimule al timser. Don't make him such a mesira. Im heiz pan of amar leikil kel himser and revises. After he said he's going to be meser, you have to warn him, don't do mesira. And if he says no, I'm going to do it anyways, so then his mitzvah laharge v'chol hakedim laharge zoch. That's talking about when there's a chash that he's going to be meser. However, asa meser ashezamim umaser. If he already made the mesira, is yirah lishasu laharge elim ken huzak limser. Unless he was a huzak limser, so maybe there's always a chash. He's going to be a hareza yonish koshem yimser acherim. Masha'inkin, if he's not a huzak limser, he did an avla. So a person gets very angry at someone. He says, "I'm going to go be meser him." So you have to warn him, say, you're not allowed to be meser. He says, no, I'm going to be meser anyways. So then there's this din that he said before, that muter larig meser. Someone says, I'm going to go do something of mesira, which is not allowed to do. So then there's a din muter laharge. Masha'inkin, if the person already did it, see if the person is a known meser, so the whole time there's a chash he's going to be meser. So therefore, you have to deal with him, because he's a meser. Masha'inkin, a person that made a mesira, because of a certain incident, so before he actually made the mesira, so there's a din of mutal harge, even it's a mesira mom and kal. Masha'inkein, after he did the mesira, he already did the avera, and there's really no shash that he'd be a meser, because he's not a general, he's a meser. This was an isolated incident. So then you're not allowed to do anything to him. Then the Rambam says, "Umaisim b'chol zman b'ori ha'mayriv lanish ha'moistrim shehuzuku limser mamen b'nei adam." And v'limser ha-meisrim b'yad ha-goyim lo-onshom u'la-kesom u'la-osrim k'virishim. In other words, you take these meisrim and you give them over to the authorities that they should punish them. V'chen kol ha-meitzer l'tzibur u'mitzaron. So before we're talking about a meiser, someone that's a meiser momen b'yad anis. Then there's a musi called ha-meitzer l'tzibur u'mitzaron. Someone that's a meitzer l'tzibur, he causes for the tzibur uncomfortableness, he makes tsar for them. Is muter l'mosri b'yad goyim. You're allowed to take such a person and be moiser b'yad goyim l'hakesei, that these goyim will be l'hakesei l'osri l'konsei. Avol mipnei tsar yochid, when the person is causing pain for a yochid, is osir l'osri, and also v'osir l'abid mamene shel meiser. V'avol b'shem muter l'onshe, even though there's a muter l'anish is meiser, but on the other, you're not to take his money shari, money l'yarshav. His money is going to go to l'yarshav. So even though you're allowed to kill him, even a situation where the Rambam said muter larig meser, you're allowed to kill him, but you're not allowed to take away his moment. There's an issue, l'chura, if a person is a meser, so l'chura is chayiv misa. So if he's chayiv misa, how could he be chayiv moment? There's l'chura din of kamli b'derabbenei, which we'll learn b'hemshech, that a reidev, there's a din of kamli b'derabbenei. So how could a meser be chayiv moment if l'pel efshel l'harge? So there's diurim taka. If this reidev is a known reidev, so taka it's mutal. Normally, a meiser, once he was meiser, so you're not allowed to kill him. So b'shas meiser, when he's being a meiser, you're really not allowed to kill him. So memela, if he's a known meiser, so taka there's issues. Maybe l'chure, once he's a known meiser, so you're allowed to kill him. So memela, since he's hitter atzma l'misa, so he's potter from tashlum, and there's the yunim about it. I mean, the Rambam doesn't mention it. The Rambam writes b'pshitos that a meiser has to be paid, has to pay. Then the Rambam writes also b'pshitos that a meiser could be killed in certain situations. The Rambam doesn't seem to say that because he could be killed, therefore there's a p'tur of the moment. Halacha Yud Beis. Reidev shehaya reidev acha chaveri lehorge ledvar avera. The reidev was either trying to kill someone, or he was trying to do an avera, the din of znus, which the din is also you're allowed to kill him. V'shaver sakelim, and this reidev, this person that was trying to kill someone or tried to do an avera, So, and he was broke Kalim, either Ben Shal Nirda, Ben Shal Kolad, he broke Kalim either of the person he's running after to kill, or running after to do the Aveir, or Ben Shal Koladam. So the din is Potter Menat Shlumen. Why? B'pnei Shu Mischayev B'nafshei. Shekiven Sherodav is Hitir Atzmul Misa. So Memela, since he's Chayev Misa, for this did his comely, so he's Chayev Misa, in other words, you're allowed to kill him. Abola Harge Chashkin V'Harge. So Memela, since he's Mischayev B'nafshei, is Shekiven Sherodav Hitir Atzmul Misa, so Memela is Potter Menat Shlumen. So even though L'chura you could think, there would be a makom to think that there's no really Chiyuv Misa on the Reidav. L'chura, the din of the Chiyuv on the Reidav is a din L'hatzelis HaNirdav. So normally the din of Kamli Drabin is when a person does a Maisa Avera, which is a Chiyuv Misa for the Maisa Avera, and at the same time he does a Maisa which is a Chiyuv Mammon. So we say the Chiyuv Misa is paid to the Chiyuv Mammon. And even if he doesn't get Misa B'Peil. Mashenkin over here, the Pshat is there's a Chiyuv Misa. L'chura the Pshat is you're allowed to kill him in order L'hatzelis HaNirdav. So l'chura, since it's only you're able to kill him L'hatzelis HaNirdav, so l'chura, why is there a din Kamli B'Drabnei? But that's the din. The din is not like that. The din is that there is a din Kamli B'Drabnei. His vice too is that the Pshat is that there is a Chiyuv Misa. Or I'll call upon him, the din Misa, which is on the Reidav, is enough to pater the Reidav from the Chiyuv Imam. Halacha Yud Gimel. Nirdaf sheshavar kelim shel Reidav. Fakert. Before we were talking about the Reidav was shavar kelim. Now we're saying the Nirdaf, but he was shavar kelim shel Reidav is potter. Because le'yehei mameinei chaviv migufei. Because since Lepel, he's allowed to kill him. He's allowed to kill the person, and in order to save himself. So al derech zeh, he's allowed to be mazik his begodim. So even though we've said before, but again the moiser, that the moiser you're allowed to kill, but you're not allowed to be mazik his begodim. But over here, since the nirdaf is doing it in order to lahatzel esatzmei, so he's allowed to kill himself lahatzel esatzmei, and he's also allowed to do his kalim. In other words, it's a kalvachemer on his kalim. If he's allowed to le'yemameni chav megufei, if im shavar kalim acherim, but someone else, others people's kalim is chayiv. Shamatzel asmi mom chaveri chayiv. You're not allowed to be matzel asmi mom chaveri. In other words, even if you are allowed to, but you're allowed to be matzel asmi mom chaveri. In other words, purchase akonis lefoshes, but on the other end, you have to pay for it. In other words, the matzel asmi mom chaveri is chayiv. Halacha Yudalad. Misha rodaf acher hareidef lehishia hanirdaf. A person is being roidef acher hareidef. He's trying to save the nirdaf. V'shaver es hakelim ben shel reidef ben shel kolodam is potter. And that's v'leiman adin, because be'etzim l'chura he's chayiv. L'chura being mazik someone's kelim he's chayiv. El takoni sh'liyamonim l'hatzel yismameya v'yayin be'isha yirdev. Person shouldn't have to worry about being mazik while he's being roidef after the roidef. In other words, person is running after the roidef in order to save the nirdef. So any damages that this person that's trying to save the nirdef is doing he's not responsible for. Halacha tezvov. Sfina shechishva liishaver mikeved amasu. You have a ship that's at sea, and there's a concern that it's going to sink because it has a heavy load. And v'amad echad mem, one of them gets up v'hekel mimaso v'yishluk bayam, and he throws some of the items in the ship overboard into the sea, into the ocean. Is potter. Why? Because ha'amasa sheba k'mei reidev achreim. Lahargam, this masa has a din of a reidif. So it's just like a reidif, you're allowed to kill the reidif, you're allowed to get rid of the masa. Mitzvah rabba also, sheishluch ve'ishim. So you can't have tainistim for throwing over the masa vaker. Just like a person is allowed to go ahead and kill a reidif, so this person was allowed to go ahead and throw over the masa. Slikulu hilchas Chovel U'Mazik b'sayayta d'shmaya.